From the Rolling Stone, alt-right YouTuber Lauren Southern alleges in memoir that Andrew Tate S.A.'d her. Yeah, I don't believe this. I don't believe this at all. This is a bunch of garbage. This is a bunch of nonsense. This is BS. This guy is a convenient target. She banged Andrew Tate, and because he's had all these allegations placed against him, she figures she can just do a he said, she said, and get some free publicity by bringing his name into it, because he's a much, much bigger name than she is. Essentially riding the coattails of a man that is more successful than her, which is all she's ever done, which is all her whole career is based upon. Anyway, before I get into this story, I'd like to invite you to please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment in the comment section. And if you'd like to support my continued content creation and help me in my physical recovery, health-wise, of course, health, physical, please consider making a donation to my GoFundMe, link in the description, or supporting me on Patreon, or making a direct donation via Cash App. My Cash App ID is also in the description. So, she shared her account of the meeting with him in 2018. That's a long time ago. She's not even that old. Is she even 30 yet? Wow. Wow. She looks it. I know that. Of course, she likes to drink. She likes her booze a lot. So, so she's still, she's 29 now. She's not even 30. Already has a kid. Of course. She married an FBI agent a while back, and that didn't work out because he wanted a, traditional woman, because he's from, what was he, Pakistani or something? And she refused to be the traditional female that she had advertised herself to be. So she did a kind of bait and switch, got the guy to marry her. Then, turned out that she wasn't the TradCon broad she pretended to be, which is all TradCon broads. They're all fakes, frauds, phonies. That's why you live with a broad before marrying them, and you never marry a Western chick, because they are all corrupted by feminism. Anyway, the article begins by saying, and of course I'm sure it's going to automatically assume that she's telling the truth and be pro-Lauren, because all mainstream media hates Andrew Tate. Lauren Southern, the Canadian YouTuber who was once a rising star on the far right, thanks to her hardline anti-immigrant and anti-feminist views. Yeah, she was just another one of these covert feminists like Tommy Lahren. I don't know why we're calling them covert at this point. The only thing covert about them is that they claim not to be feminists while espousing feminist propaganda, but later retreated from the scene, has alleged in her new self-published memoir, This Is Not Real Life. Well, what is it then? That she was sexually assaulted by embattled misogynist influencer Andrew Tate in 2018. She was assaulted in 2018, and now she's coming forward 7 years later? Right. So she claims her husband was abusive. She came forward with that right away. But somehow, being essayed, i.e. graped, is what she's really saying. No, I kept that under wraps until I had lost all credibility and nobody knew who I was anymore or cared. I see. When she was 22 years old. Okay, sweetheart, whatever you say. The accusation, detailed in excerpts shared today on her Substack page. I don't even know what Substack is. Should I create a Substack? Would that help? Adds to an already lengthy list of allegations of GRAPE and human trafficking against Tate. Yeah, they're all bullshit. They're all BS. And Brother Tristan, some of which have resulted in criminal prosecutions. No, they haven't. None of them have resulted in criminal prosecutions. You're wrong. That's a lie. Rolling Stone, you're lying. Criminal prosecutions for GRAPE or SA? No, that's a total complete fabrication. Notice they say criminal prosecutions, but not criminal prosecutions for SA. The pair successfully blocked an indictment in Romania. Yes, because it was bunk and BS. Where they live from going to trial. Oh, they blocked it, or there was no evidence? You'll say they blocked it. Okay. But currently face further investigation by authorities in the country. That's not going anywhere. Once those proceedings conclude, they'll face criminal charges in the UK. Also not going to go anywhere. But of course, these charges are not meant to go anywhere. They're just meant to tie Tate up in litigation for years and limit his ability to spread the message and to poison the well, so that even if somebody is listening to him, they won't actually listen to him because, oh, well, he's an assayer, so who cares what he has to say? Yeah. That include human trafficking and GRAPE. The brothers deny all accusations against them. All the accusations against them are 100% false. Guaranteed. The Tate's attorney, Joseph D. McBride, shared a statement about the claims in Southern's book on X. Andrew Tate unequivocally repudiates the pathetic filth peddled by Lauren Southern in her pitiable tome. This is not real life, a washed-up nobody-loser memoir. That's a more accurate title. If there ever was one, he wrote. No evidence supports her claims. That's correct. In fact, there is evidence and eyewitness testimony, namely from Tommy Robinson, to refute her claims, where he says that he witnessed Lauren Southern and Andrew Tate exiting Andrew Tate's hotel room and kissing passionately outside that room. That's very odd, consensually kissing him in a very passionate manner as they're exiting his room after he supposedly graped her. Very interesting. Yeah. He called the publication of the free excerpts on her Substack a marketing ploy. Of course. Tate himself replied to Southern on X, chooses the chapter about me to release for free, of course, to get attention so she can sell her memoirs of promiscuity. He wrote, coincidence, I'm sure. Yeah, he's being sarcastic, obviously, and I agree with him. Yeah, Lauren Southern, just so you know, guys, this chick is such a clout chaser that besides sleeping with Andrew Tate, and it was sleeping with consensually, she slept with tons of other men in the R-pill conservative space whose talking points and ideas she stole and then peddled as her own. She also slept with Destiny. And in fact, she wanted to marry Destiny and be his wife. And she cheated on her current ex-husband, who she was married to at the time. She cheated on him with Destiny. She was married to that dude, and she cheated with Destiny. With Destiny. Have you seen the pics of this dude without his shirt on? Looks like a bobblehead, man. It's the weirdest looking thing. This tiny little emaciated body, stick figure, skinny fat little creature with this ginormous bobblehead. And it's surprising because even though he's a big head, his brain is very tiny. He's good at gish galloping. He's good at talking fast. He's good at diverting the subject. He's good at filibustering, but he's not very good at making actual arguments. Just with talking fast and rattling off 7 or 8 subjects that are totally completely different than what you were just discussing, and thereby shifting the goalpost and overwhelming you with subject material, subject matter. And the dude is just a joke. And he's also a far-left nut job who thinks those kids in Texas that died in the flood, well, they got what they deserve. Yeah, this guy's a wacko. She slept with him. She was actually in love with Destiny, from what I understand. Whew. That should tell you all you need to know about Lauren Southern. Anyway, continuing, Southern did not immediately respond to a request for additional comment. Yeah, big shocker there. Yeah. Has she responded? In chapters published on her Substack, Southern describes traveling from the UK with the British Islamophobic activist. What are you talking about? What is Islamophobia anyway? By the way, does such a term as Christian phobia exist? Is there such thing as Christianophobia? Because you people on the left seem to be deathly terrified of Christianity, and for irrational reasons. There is no such thing as Islamophobia. A phobia is an irrational fear. Like, I'm afraid of a spider that isn't poisonous, right? Like, I'm afraid of a daddy long leg. I see a daddy long leg, I go, ah, and I run out of the room. That would be phobia, right? That thing can't hurt me. But Islamic extremists will whack my head off if I make fun of their prophet. So I don't know that it's irrational to be fearful of Islamists who are pouring into Western countries and outbreeding us at a pace of, 10 to 1? So much so that in 50 years, half the Western countries will have Sharia law. In 50 years, Britain's going to look like Iran or Iraq or something. But oh no, I'm irrationally fearful of Islam. Okay. Tommy Robinson to Romania around 2018. Is this something he does? Maybe I should contact Andrew Tate. Maybe I can get a free flight out to Romania and get an invite to the war room to talk about misandry and all the hatred of men and the matrix and the gynocentric cultures we in the West now live in, where women are actually in charge. That'd be interesting. Maybe I can get that invite. Maybe I get a ride on his free jet. I just hope I don't have to give him a BJ in exchange, as Lauren probably had to. Seems she did so willingly and with much fervor. She would have you believe otherwise, obviously. To meet the Tates and their team about a supposed opportunity to launch a new right-wing media venture with the siblings' investment. I guess that never happened. It was probably just a pretense to get Lauren out there so he could bang her, because in 2018 she was a good-looking broad. Now she's not so good-looking. I mean, besides the fact that she's popped out a kid, she's also put on a bunch of weight, and, some of that is just too much boozing. This is one of those chicks that sits around all day and always has a cup of wine in her hand. So that has something to do with it. She's hagged herself out pretty good thanks to the booze and the drugs, as you will see. But also, they had a lot more disposable income back then. I mean, yeah, we're spending 150 grand on to fly these two out, but... and maybe they were serious about this right-wing media venture at the time. I don't know. Nervous about their lack of preparation for a pitch, and because, as she alleges, Robinson was heavily impaired by cocaine. Oh, how do you know that? That he managed to smuggle aboard the plane. Oh, really? Any evidence for that? Southern recalls being surprised by the Tates, whom she did not know at the time, when they turned up at the airport in Bucharest. Two sharply dressed men leaned against polished sports cars, she writes, saying they stood out like sore thumbs against the washed-out Balkan backdrop. She was surprised that they were so professional and well-dressed and good-looking and tall and muscular. I'm sure that had no effect on her as a woman whatsoever. A 22-year-old, no less. Andrew drove Southern to a dinner for just the two of them at a steakhouse. So Tommy was the third wheel? Where was he? Back in their compound eating ramen noodles? What's going on here? And was excessively complimentary of her work. Yeah, he just wanted to get in her pants. Flirtatious and even somewhat charming. She notes that they really did get along during these conversations, though eventually she adds things started to feel off. Oh, they started to feel off. No, I doubt that. I think they started to feel very, very on. Later, she, Robinson, and their video team were taken to the Tate's compound, oh boy, which Southern describes as a building that looked like it had been designed by edgy Reddit mods and anime nerds turned Marie Kondo minimalist fanatics. I love how she's trying to sound intelligent here, making all of these references that most people are not going to be able to understand, with an imposing samurai statue for decoration and a small army of crypto bros studying market fluctuations on their computer screens. Okay. It almost seemed like the brothers were the muscle and drivers, while crypto guys were the ones doing the actual work, she writes. Oh, yeah, they're just grifters and con men. Yeah, it takes one to know one, sweetheart. They do a hell of a lot more work than you ever have done. I tell you that. Southern says the meeting about a potential new media company with the Tates and their... I bet the Tates are wishing they had launched that media company now. Then they would actually have more of a voice in the media sphere. With the Tates and their chief crypto partner was a complete bust, despite her efforts to refocus the conversation and compensate for Robinson's erratic behavior. Oh, so it went south. So I'm sure you had nothing to do with the right-wing media company you were trying to get them to invest in going south. I'm sure that was all Robinson's fault. She's your typical effeminist. So the pitch for the media company was a complete bust, but it wasn't her fault that it was a complete bust. Okay, gotcha. Now that you have tried to shift blame as much as possible onto Cokehead Robinson and Grifter Brothers, if they're grifters, why are you still there? The group returned to their hotel, convinced they had blown it, but then the Tates messaged that they wanted to talk more with Southern. Okay, yeah, but not Robinson. Gotcha. She returned to the compound where she claims Andrew demanded a photo with her. So what? Demanded. Okay. So now she's trying to present him as a hostage taker. He demanded a photo from me, and I had no choice but to acquiesce. Now, I'm sure he asked. And she interpreted that as a demand. And honey, let's be fair here. He flew you how many thousands of miles on a private jet, probably spoon-fed you caviar, took you out to an expensive dinner, all expenses paid in a nice hotel. I think the least you can do is take a picture with the guy. I don't see a problem with that. With her posed with a hand wrapped around her waist. What's wrong with that? Did you say I'm uncomfortable with that? Like we've been dating for years. So what? So see what she's trying to do here? She's trying to make innocent interactions and flirtations and just, innocent physical contact that really doesn't mean anything into something tawdry. Instead of discussing business, she alleges that the brothers whisked her away to a nearby nightclub. You're a good-looking broad, 22 years old, and you've flown on a jet, on a plane, and you've accepted their invitation out to their compound for a second time. So why not? And they're younger, and they're 7 years younger at this point. Andrew might have still been doing the kickboxing stuff, you know? They're young and full of you-know-what, so what's wrong with that? Assuring her that they would also send cars to bring Robinson and the other members of her crew along. But that her traveling companions never arrived. Well, you could have just said, I'm not comfortable. Take me back to the hotel. But you didn't do that, did you? Southern alleges she had one cocktail and a shot of liquor. Of course you did. You like that booze, honey. Before feeling nauseatingly drunk. Off of 2 alcoholic beverages, you expect us to believe that you at 22 got drunk off of 2 alcoholic beverages. Nobody believes that, sweetheart. You maybe 20. She felt nauseatingly drunk and having someone carry her to the bathroom where she vomited. I believe that, but I think it was more like a dozen alcoholic beverages. At some point after, she claims these broads always try to downplay the amount of booze they drank. Yeah. Or they'll upplay it to try and abdicate responsibility if they did something that they're ashamed of. Or in this case, accuse him of SA. That's for clout, right? Yeah. At some point after, she claims Andrew carried her to a car. Okay, so number one, we both know you didn't get so drunk that you were nauseated and can't walk off of 2 drinks. That's number one. Number 2, if he had to carry you to your vehicle, you drank way more than that. Also, your choice to do that. And number 3, you let him drive you back to your hotel, where he carried you up to your room. This dude's carrying you? You let him carry you? By the way, this is all consensual. So you're perfectly fine drinking a dozen boozy beverages, perfectly fine with him carrying you, perfectly fine for him carrying you back to your hotel. But you weren't comfortable with what happened after. I see. There, Southern alleges Tate asked her to sleep beside him on the bed, to which she agreed. Okay, this is all bull. This is all bunk. Number 1, Tate's not asking her to do anything. He's going in for the kiss. He's going in for the, the butt-up grab. He's going in for the canoodling, the close embrace. And is she pushing him away, or is she reciprocating? Well, she's reciprocating, obviously. Asked her to sleep beside him on the bed? That's total nonsense. Who does that? Can I please touch your hand? Yes. May I put your hair behind your ear? May I kiss your cheek? Tate is not doing any of that. What are you talking about? This is all nonsense. What is she? She's setting something up here. While incredibly intoxicated, she adds, off of 2 drinks? Come on. He kissed me. Come on. This is all a setup. Okay, I see what's going on here. So she's trying to create this scenario where he got her into a compromising position, which he then took advantage of her. BS. I wasn't expecting it, and I wasn't looking for it. Lies. But I kissed him back briefly. That's the one truth that she has muttered. And then told him I wanted to sleep. Yeah. I was extraordinarily tired. Not that tired. He wanted to go further. I said no very clearly, multiple times. Nobody believes that. This is where you're lying. and tried to pull his hands off me. Lie. He put his arm around my neck. Lie. And began strangling me. Double lie. He needs to sue you. Can you sue her, Andrew? Is this a suable offense? Could this be... So, wouldn't this be some kind of defamation or liable? I mean, do you have any evidence of this, any at all? Oh, of course, Southern will just say, well, he said, she said, so he can't prove it didn't happen, even if I can't prove it did. Come on. Nah, but we can prove this is highly unlikely, and that there's enough reasonable doubt that you can then be sued successfully and made to pay him millions of dollars, which is what should happen here. I think you should sue her. I would absolutely sue her. I tried to fight back. He repeatedly strangled me. Lie. Every time I regain enough consciousness to pull at his arm. More lies. I prefer not to share the rest. It's pretty obvious. Oh. Is it possible you don't want to share the rest because the more details you give us, the more obvious it'll be that it's a lie, and the more lies you tell, the more we can disprove said lies? So instead of giving us more ammunition, you claim you don't want to tell the rest of the story because it's shameful? Yeah, get out of here. This wasn't a case of mixed signals or intoxicated blurred lines. Blurred lines, Southern writes. I fought back. I was pleading. I just didn't realize there was a point of no return. What do you mean you didn't realize there was a point of no return? Already this doesn't make any sense. If you didn't realize there was a point of no return, then obviously you were willing up to a point. And if there was a point of no return, I mean, there was consent going on here at some point, and then it went beyond a point of consent. What? I don't understand it. This is already, lie. This is all a lie. A moment where, I mean, there was no point of return from what you've been saying, but now there was a point of return? There was a moment where my voice would no longer have any power. What a bunch of crap. Years later, she would read a Vice News report about how Tate had been arrested on suspicion. But shouldn't you say allegedly? Because you don't know that this is true. You only have a word for this. Of course, you only have a word for any of this. Of GRAPE in 2015, with one alleged victim telling the outlet that, by the way, that's been proven to be a lie, that Tate has strangled her on multiple occasions. And that's really where she got the idea for the story from. I'm sure this planted the seed in her head. And that she'd seen him choke other women some 10 times. Southern found this claim of her repeated asphyxiations consistent with her own story. Or did she get the idea for her story from that story? In the aftermath of the alleged essay, Southern explained she tried to minimize the incident, in part because she felt that her anti-Effinist brand... she's not an Effinist, anti-Effinist. She's an Effinist. There's nothing about her that's anti-Effinist. Precluded her from coming forward as a victim. Nonsense. Total complete nonsense. I wouldn't have believed another woman who made these exact set of claims, she admits. Yeah, because they're nonsense. And it's already been years at this point. Tate, she claims, warned her before she returned to the UK not to go. Well, then why were you having a passionate kiss with him outside his room that Tommy Robbins had witnessed if this was somehow some kind of assault? Not to go to the press about what had happened. Southern contends that she reached out to law enforcement back in the UK, but was told an investigation could only proceed in Romania, where she believed the Tates had the police paid off. Come on! Everything's excuses with you, sweetheart. She also went to a women's hospital to get a report on the alleged assault about a week later. Do you have evidence of this? But she remained in touch with Tate. Why? Why would you remain in touch with Andrew Tate, who you say just raped you? Who she alleges continued to send veiled threats before finally offering an apology of sorts. Do you have any evidence? Wait. So, okay, I want to see the evidence. If he sent you veiled threats, that would be in the form of an email or a text message that I could view, right? Oh, no, it was on a phone conversation that I failed to record. How convenient. Oh, but he offered an apology. Oh. Did he now? No evidence for any of that either, even though you very easily, there's apps for recording phone calls. You could, if it was a phone call, you could have recorded it. It was text messages or emails, you should have it saved. Oh, but I have nothing. The following year, Southern announced her retirement from activism. Yeah, she found some dopey simp. She's getting tired of the grift. It's too difficult. It's too hard. It's too much work. I want to go have a kid now. I want to make for an easy life. But, once I had that kid and got everything I claimed I wanted, I missed all the attention and the validation because I'm still young. I'm 25, 26. I want the validation. I want the clout. I miss all the attention that I was getting. I miss being famous. I miss being on talk shows, beside all these talking heads and people caring about what I had to say. It's intoxicating. It's like a drug. So I need to continue chasing that dragon while at the same time trying to be a mother, which means I can't be good at either, and I can't really do either very well, if at all, in any real meaningful way. And so my husband is getting pissed. He's getting angry. This isn't what he signed up for. It's a bait and switch. And so I went and had an affair with Destiny because he looked like a better prospect. But that didn't work out. He wouldn't leave his wife, who now eventually ended up leaving him. And so now I'm stuck. So I got to write a book where I lie about Andrew Tate so I can get more clout and attention. Love it. Oh, the thought to activist, back to thought pipeline. Yeah. Anyway, indicating she wanted to turn her attention to academia and in-person relationships. No, you didn't. You missed the clout. Then the far-right troll. He's a far-right troll, Milo Yiannopoulos. Well, honey, at least he earned what clout he had. He earned his reputation. He earned all the kudos he got, unlike you. Published a piece smearing her. Yeah. But wasn't Milo Yiannopoulos by that point already himself smeared and totally completely invalidated and nobody would listen to him? And to this date, that's been the case. Published a piece smearing her, asserting that Southern had been a secret leftist. You are obviously a leftist. Nothing secret about it. All along. And sexually manipulated unnamed men in order to advance her career. Did you sue him for libel? No. Because once discovery started, it would be proven that he was correct. So, yeah. As a political commentator, that's all 100% true. This woman has no talent. She's used everybody out there. Every man she's run into, she's either banged or hinted that she would bang, like Stefan Molyneux. And she might have banged him too, in exchange for clout on social media and going on, tours where she would then, spout her stolen talking points from the men she banged or promised to bang or intimated she would bang, spout her talking points on stage. And, she's just a pretty woman saying things you want her to hear. Southern claims she soon got word that Tate was telling her private online networks that he was one of the sources for Yiannopoulos' pieces. Yeah. And joking that he never had any intention of funding the media project she and Robinson had tried to pitch in Bucharest, writing a group message chat, do pimps give girls money? So what? Okay, so you got played. So you figure it's okay to play him in turn? Southern claims she later realized that Tate had messaged her on social media a year before they had been introduced, and she had casually corresponded with him like any other fan. So you admit you were a fan of his. But she hadn't connected the dots when they came face to face. She was left wondering if Robinson was in on the setup to make her available to Tate. Was I trafficked, she writes? What the F? Nonsense. Now you would like to portray yourself as a trafficking victim as well. See, this is what I've been saying for years. Claiming victimhood has cachet. It pays. You literally will get money. You will get cash and prizes if you can claim to be a victim, especially if somebody higher up that the establishment wants to smear. And now she's trying to do that so she can get a paycheck. Because, she's a single mommy now. She needs that cashola. Well, Tate rose to fame as a top G. Oh, she's pissed. She's pissed at Tate because she gave up the nookie to him and she didn't get anything in return. So the tables got turned. She used her poon to get cash and prizes from dudes, to get clout, to get fame on social media, to get paid. And Tate did the same thing to her. So she can dish it out, but she can't take it. I love it. He rose to fame as top G. I got relegated to single mamahood, and nobody knows who I am anymore. It's not fair. I'm going to cry grape by doling out toxic advice. Is it toxic, though? Or is it just toxic from your leftist, effeminist point of view? On masculinity to young men. I'm sure Southern would say that as well, yet more proof that she's a effeminist. Southern says she found herself disillusioned with the right. Yeah. Translation, it stopped paying me dividends because I was outed as a covert effinist, and so I stopped getting follows and I stopped getting donations, and people stopped paying attention to me. So I decided to shift the grift. She had supported the right-wing movement staunchly with her xenophobic content. Oh, she's xenophobic now. Has she changed her stance on immigration as well? Seeing how it held women to an impossible standard. Geez, it seemed like her standards, her TradCon standards, were actually extremely loose compared to what women were like in the 1950s. And the women in the 1950s were the way women were for thousands of years. So it seems like her standards were actually pretty realistic. But anyway, her former views held women to impossible standards, while men reveled in the hypocrisy. What is Southern now walking back her prior claims about proper femininity and immigration? Right, she's shifting the grift. She's trying to now appeal to a more centrist or leftist audience. Big shocker. You get endless monologues from self-styled truth tellers insisting that men are supposed to sleep around while women must remain chaste. That's a straw man. Let's be honest here. Men were never encouraged to sleep around. They were encouraged to be chaste and find a good woman and remain with her. That is a false narrative that's spread to incentivize women and tell women that, well, now you can do what men have been told they should do. It's to encourage women to essentially embrace a lifestyle of degeneracy and lack of accountability, because that's good for the powers that be. Meanwhile, these actions women are encouraged to take to break apart the nuclear family and put themselves at the behest of the powers that be. Now she's rethinking being against these things. Yeah, as if it's not completely antithetical to the conservative religious and family values the space generally claims to champion, she observes. Southern concludes, I don't hate Andrew. If somebody graped me, I would hate them, but I don't hate him. She expresses the belief, Dad, that's because he didn't do anything to you. You wouldn't be able to say you didn't hate him if you had. See, this is perfect evidence that this never happened. I mean, there's plenty of evidence to indicate that it didn't. A lot of the things she said do not align with the things somebody would say happen as a SA victim. And Tommy Robinson directly contradicts her claims. But to say you don't hate somebody who graped you? Nonsense. Utter nonsense. I don't hate Andrew. She expresses the belief that he might have yet changed as a person. Oh, yeah, she's trying to take the moral high ground. See, I have an enlightened, elevated view now. Yeah, she's a lefty. She sounds like one of these virtue-signaling idiot leftists. I don't hate that Somali refugee that graped me. I feel sorry for him because the system's been against him his whole life, and it's so disenfranchised him that you can't blame him for his actions. It's the system that's to blame. The system meaning Whitey and his horrible, evil, racist, bourgeoisie system that apparently doesn't care that much about its fellow white people either. Go check out Appalachia. But anyway, I hope he becomes the soul he could have been instead of the one consumed by his vices. Like you, sitting around drinking wine all day? And all the dudes you slept with, what's your body count, sweetheart? Whether behind bars or free, but I don't think he even realizes he's been consumed. Lacking in self-awareness much, sweetheart? Pot kettle black, baby. Like so many in his position, he's likely never let himself dig that deep. Like you. Because there's too much pain waiting there, like you. Wow, talk about projection on steroids, man. Wow. So there you go. So all this is, so she's getting cash and prizes out of this. The system doesn't like Andrew Tate. They've done everything they can to muddy the waters and poison the well in regards to this guy, to invalidate him so that nobody listens to what he has to say because he's speaking too much truth. I know very, very well. And so she figures if she maligns this guy, maligns him enough, she'll get a lot of free publicity and in turn sales for her book. And what happened? She's getting a lot of free publicity for her book and probably quite a few dollar bills, in exchange for her story from these various news outlets, because of course they're going to reward her if she maligns Andrew Tate. So there you go. There's nothing new to see here. Just a woman riding dudes' coattails. She's done it her entire career. And now that she has no career, she's trying to do it again to get some kind of relevance back by attacking a famous man who she knows that the powers that be hate and that the media will do her bidding and reward her for this maligning of this man. So what do I think happened? I think she saw Andrew, and 7 years ago, even bigger than life, even better looking, even younger, even more buff. He was probably still doing the kickboxing thing. This model of masculinity, she's 22. She's looking at him. What is he, 6'3", 6'4"? Built like a brick you-know-what house? She's like, wow, he's so hot. I think she banged him quite consensually. That lines up with what Tommy Robinson witnessed. Tommy Robinson, who she called a cokehead because, from what I understand, he went to the bathroom a lot, and that means he's doing coke? Okay, whatever. So she's willing to throw him under the bus as well. Yet another man who, all of his accolades and all of the hate that he's garnered as well are well-earned. Well, the hate is well-earned if you are someone who dislikes his pro-UK anti-immigration stance. But she's willing to throw any man. I think she's willing to throw anyone under the bus, man or woman, just to advance her career. I don't think anything happened to her except she consented to a good time. The story makes no sense. She got crazy drunk off of 2 alcoholic beverages, had to be carried back to her room, at which point somehow Andrew Tate was asking for step-by-step consent until they ended up in a compromising situation where he could easily take advantage of her. Come on, who believes that? Here's what happened. She went out with him. She had about a dozen cocktails. They were probably making out in the club or grab ass and under the table. He suggested they go back to her hotel room. She readily acquiesced. They went back. They banged. She probably grabbed his lower regions. She probably initiated everything. He was more than willing. I'm sure it was actually mutual. Had the interaction. Then years later, she found out he had no intention of funding her media company. He just used me for S. Meanwhile, she was using him, trying to use her feminine wiles to get a free media company. To get a media company financed by this guy. Oh, but, that failed. By the way, it's okay if I do that, because women have been doing that for years, and that's okay, and that's allowed. I can do it to him. But if he gets the best of me, like I've gotten the best of dozens of men throughout the years, oh, well, now I need to destroy his name and his credibility. And, I'll eventually write a book where I claim that he did all these horrible, evil things to me. He can't claim that I didn't. And, how am I going to avoid getting sued? Oh, I'm going to wait until his name is smeared in the media. I'm going to wait until he's morally compromised in the eyes of others. And then I'm going to say that he did this to me in a way that mirrors what other victims say he did. And then it'll be much less likely that he can sue me because I'm saying he did this and that, and other women are saying it as well. So it's kind of just a he said, she said. So, it's less likely that I get sued. He's already embroiled in all of these other conflicts in other countries. He's in Romania now. He wanted to sue me in the States. He'd have to come to the States, and he's got all of these legal problems going on. So I'm just too small a fish. And by the time that he's in a position to actually sue me, either he'll be in jail or maybe he'll be, or he just won't care. Oh, I'll have already gotten the bag by then. Yeah. So what do you think? Was she essayed by Andrew Tate, or do you think she gave it up willingly in hopes of getting a free media company that she would be running, and instead she just got D'd down and didn't get anything in exchange, and she was hoping for something in exchange? And by the way, good-looking, well-built guy anyway, so I'm sure she had a fun night regardless. But since this woman doesn't seem to, sleep with men for any other reason except to get something out of it, and if there's no quid pro quo, well, then she don't give it up. But, let me know what you think in the comments section. And please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. Hit that notification bell. Leave a comment. It's good for the algorithm. And, on that note, I'm out of here. I am the realist, also known as the MGT, philosopher. And I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.